Well, hello there everyone. Welcome back to another video. So for today, we're diving back into the world of Archie Sonic. Today's video is on the Destructix, faceless goons to memorable side villains. So the Destructix were initially introduced in one of those old classic specials as just Mammoth Mogul's goons, called the Fearsome Foursome, which, yeah, that is not a good name. There was Lightning Lynx, who was fast, a Predator Hawk who could fly, Flying Frog who existed, and Sergeant Simeon who was strong. They had such little personality and were just showed up. They just showed up twice originally to be Mammoth Mogul's goons. They didn't really have any personality or any standout traits or moments or anything. Well, I guess that wouldn't be such a bad thing, except that they were given original names and designs. You'd think you'd get more out of them, but you just didn't. Sure, they started to appear a little later, um, in a story with Snively, and even though they got a lot of page time, they still didn't really have any personality, which just makes you wonder why they even got focused to begin with. But eventually, way later, they made their grand reappearance in the Darkest Storm arc under Ian Flynn as the Destructix, because there are lots of them now, so they can't be called the Fearsome Foursome anymore. And here is where they get way more personality and are way more memorable. So at first they just, show up as goons and stuff like that. And sure, they don't have a lot of development, but since the art is great and it's a lot more memorable, so there are individual moments, individual lines. You're able to remember. You're able to remember these guys. Yeah, I remember Sergeant Simeon, Flying Frog, Predator, Hawk, Lightning Lynx. But that's nothing compared to what they get later. Chapter 3, we're going to focus on Sergeant Simeon. So, there was a Sonic Universe spin-off Archie published alongside the main series, to give focus to characters who normally wouldn't get focus, which is, I think it's a really nice thing they did that, because you wouldn't want to waste time with them in the main comic. It wouldn't make any sense for them to get development. So here they go from random goons to memorable, but still just goons, to very memorable side villains. This is when in the Scourge Lockdown arc, where they they break into the prison to get Scourge out, and effectively we all get their backstories. So first there's Sergeant Simeon, and remember, way back during the gag era in issue 45, there was a story where there's a bunch of gorillas who are militaristic. Just a joke. It was a Mike Gallagher story, I think. Maybe it was Angelo Desessere, but he was also a gag writer. We find out that Sergeant Simeon came from this group of militaristic guerrillas before they were militaristic. He wanted to fight Robotnik, his family said no, so he went in by himself, stole weapons so he could fight them, and did a really good job. But a one man can't defeat Dr. Robotnik. So he was found by Mammoth Mogul and given tons of strength and power. And when he finally came back to his family, they all wanted him to lead them because they ended up believing in his idea that, yeah, they all have to be strong and powerful and militaristic. But because he had gained so much strength, he decided that they all hadn't earned him. And whenever I reread those old stories where he appeared now, you think, wow, this guy actually has an origin story. And especially one as crazy but very interesting as that. It makes him stand out a lot more than he otherwise would. Then there's Flying Frog, who, oh boy. Flying Frog is a lunatic, as far as we can tell. So he's always talking in rhymes. We can see here he says, but I wonder, sunder, plunder. You're thinking, why does he talk like that? Well, his origin is the shortest because they probably didn't want to go too in detail with this one. So it seems he was a court jester for the Kingdom of Mercia, and he went insane and killed some guys, and now he just wanders around as a mad killer. Yeah, he even scares Scourge, which is really funny. Everyone seems to be a little scared of him. And I guess that's his personality. He's always flailing around with these creepy expressions and tones and crawling around on all fours. It definitely makes him a lot more memorable. Then there's Predator Hawk, who might be my favorite. I'm not really sure. So as we can see, he's flying around on an airborne with what seems to be the Babylon rogues in the background because yeah, he was part of the Battle Bird Armada. He did whatever he could to rise the ranks, gain more power, and he did a good job. He earned his strength. But the leader of the Battle Bird Armada did have a son. Since he was his son, he was going to inherit everything. He got so mad that he worked so hard and would never get to be leader just because of inheritance. So he beat up the leader's son and then got locked in the brig until he was rescued by the Babylon Rogues. And yeah, they're called the Rogues because they come from the Battlebird Armada and they just, went rogue. And he liked running around with them, flying around in an airboard, sometimes getting to hunt the Armada, as he said, but since this is the Babylon Rogues we're talking about, they mostly just went after treasure, and he did not care about going after treasure, and he thought that Jack the Hawk was also a weak leader. As he said, we had another weak leader. He had not earned his place. But eventually, when Jet was trying to make a deal with Mammoth Mogul, Mammoth Mogul told him he would what he wanted in return was Predator Hawk. And he willfully agreed to go with Mammoth Mogul because he told him that he would give him everything he ever wanted. Able to find a purpose, a challenge, for thrill, I guess, to hunt guys. Because as he said, you do not hunt baubles, you hunt the living. Chapter 6, Lightning Links. Oh boy. As he says here, a storm on these shores, and with honor restored. Because yeah, Lightning Lynx is a ninja. He comes from the Raiju clan. They're a bunch of ninjas from the Dragon Kingdom in this universe. So he was probably their top ninja. It's never entirely clear, but probably. I think that's what was meant to be implied. So he was in love with their leader. She was the only one of his clan he actually respected. So he dueled her to prove his honor, to prove my feelings. But he got beat easily and then banished for being loyal, I guess. And yeah, he joined with Mammoth Mogul, went around doing his dirty work until his original leader, the Bride of the Conquering Storm, love these names, hired him back to be liaison. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Foreign liaison, whatever. But eventually he just got called back to serve her in the Dragon Kingdom, and he was perfectly happy with that because he got to have what he wanted. But then Sonic and some others showed up. He fought a duel of honor with Sonic, lost easily, and got kicked out again, and was so mad that Destructix took advantage of his feelings so he would rejoin them. But the thing is, they didn't just want him to be miserable. They saw him as a brother. They really wanted him back on their team. And his entire origin is explained in a prison psychiatrist counseling session. Yeah, I love this comic. It seems he may have wanted to get revenge on Conquering Storm, although that never goes anywhere since we never see the Destructix after we get their origins. And then, of course, since, yeah, they got multiple new members, there were others. I didn't include Scourge here because he was, by the comics end, he effectively became their leader, but nothing really goes anywhere with that because, yeah, the comic was rebooted. Fiona Fox joined them. Well, she actually became their leader until Scourge took over. She hired them, and she only became their leader because this guy in the middle, Sleuth Dog, or Sleuth Doggy Dog, as he was called earlier in the comics run, just gave the team to her. He was a guy that, despite sounding like the most gag era character ever, because he was literally named after Snoop Dogg. He just kept sticking around, randomly appearing, even when the comic had been going on for more than 10 years. He would just occasionally show up. And then, once the main comic had already been running for a little over 200 issues, in Sonic Universe, he just tells Fiona, you can take them. He saved up enough money to go out on his own, and he's finally done with all of this. And that's the last time we ever see him. Even the character as random as Sleuth Dog gets an ending. And there's Drago Wolf, probably my second least favorite character in the entire comic. All you need to know about Drago Wolf is that he's annoying, stupid, and that nobody likes him. Seriously, I doubt there's a single person who's read this comic that actually likes Drago Wolf. And in the Flynn era, he just gets treated as everyone sees him, an annoying idiot who shouldn't even be there. Whenever he's fighting alongside the Destructix, almost all of them are doing well in the fight or at least evenly matched against their opponents, except him. He's always in the background getting beat up. There's even such small details as him, I guess, in prison with Predator Hawk, I think. Like, I don't know, playing tic-tac-toe or something because they have tally marks on the wall from some game. And he's lost all of them. And yeah, he eventually just leaves them to work with Eggman again and then gets treated as the moron he is. Well, that's all I gotta say for this video. I know this was probably my shortest one yet, but this is just one I wanted to do. I might post again tomorrow, but I might not. But my next big video is going to be one that I hope the algorithm likes because all I can say is that my Captain America video did not seem to do nearly as well as my others. And yeah, I just want to thank you for the support I got on my videos though, and remember to like and subscribe because, hey, it'd be nice if more people could see these. And I just got one question for you. So, what do you think of the Destructix? Well, one, I mean, they're pretty obviously named after the Chaotix, which I think is pretty funny considering they first appeared in the Chaotix story. Well, yeah, that's all I gotta say for now. And as always, keep on juicing.